Hello everyone, it's Peta, your personal face exercise coach from FACEROBICS. Thanks so much for coming by today and having a look at the video. I really do appreciate it. Today I'm going to talk to you about the 5 principles of FACEROBICS. Now I have done a couple of other videos on this, but because there are new subscribers coming on and the channel is growing, I really feel the need to have to talk about the 5 principles again so that everybody has an understanding of how to use the program. Because you cannot use the FACEROBICS program without understanding these 5 principles. And also they've developed some more, so I need to bring the new developments to you. So the first principle is isolate the muscle. The second principle is visualize the muscle. The third principle is activate the mind-body connection. The fourth principle is repetitions. And the fifth principle is the energy lift. Now I've replaced the fifth principle with the energy lift, and here, if you go to this video, you will be able to learn the energy lift of the fifth principle. And it is incredibly important that you have a look at that video and use that at the end of every repetitions that you do in your routine. So let's talk about the first one, isolate the muscle. Now people ask me, why do we have to do this? We have to isolate the muscle so that we don't create more wrinkles. So when you are lifting your face, for instance, let's say you're doing the cheek lifter exercise. When you are lifting your face without your hands, your eye, underneath your eye, the skin underneath your eye starts to wrinkle. So what you need to do is you need to hold that as you're lifting your cheeks, because if you do not hold it, you can create more wrinkles, especially if you've got dry skin. You can really create more wrinkles there, and it's really important that you follow that principle. Now this is why people say face exercises don't work, they give you more wrinkles. If you do not follow that principle, you will get more wrinkles. But clearly you can see on my face, I follow that principle, and I've been doing that for 3 or 4 years. I have hardly any wrinkles on my face. So clearly it works. So the first one is isolate the muscle. So you might be doing this. You might be doing the exercise where you need to isolate the muscle with your eyes. When you isolate that muscle, you need to press very, very firmly in the corners of your eye socket where your crow's feet could form more. That is the most important part of that exercise, in that you need to press very firmly to stop that from wrinkling up and making it worse. So that's why number 1 is isolate the muscle. Now the second one is visualize the muscle. Now the reason why I say visualize the muscle is because when you do exercises, any sort of exercise, all the other muscles move with the other muscles. So if I do this, muscles are moving under here, muscles are moving at the top, and of course that big muscle where all the other ones are attached to are moving. And that's why, because all the muscles are attached to each other. So when you visualize the muscle, what this means is that you have a look at the schematic, and there's a schematic in the description box below. Print this out and color in the muscles. What this will do is help you visualize the muscle and focus on that muscle that you're wanting to change and wanting to build up. So if you download that schematic, if you color that schematic in, when you go to do your exercises, you will absolutely know what muscle you're working on, because that is very, very important. Now the other thing about visualizing the muscle is that sometimes when you place your fingers and isolating, if you are isolating and press your finger in a different spot, it changes the exercise. So that's why some of my exercises they might seem the same, but what you're doing is pressing in a different place, and that means that a different muscle and the configuration of that starts to move differently. So you need to be very, very aware of what muscle you're working with. Even though the other muscles are moving, you have the ability to isolate the muscles by visualizing them. Now that follows into the third principle of activate the mind-body connection. Now when you activate the mind-body connection, what I'm talking about is you actually using your imagination and more going deeper into your visualization. Because it's in doing this is that you can actually just think of one muscle and just concentrate on that one muscle. And as you're focusing on that one muscle, you're actually just in your mind's eye using that muscle. Don't worry about the rest of it, you're just looking at that one muscle. So you will hear me say, move one muscle or focus on one muscle. That's what that means, is activating the mind-body connection. It's very, very important that you use your imagination along with this, because if you don't, it's just like a flat exercise. There's no electricity, and there's no building and no thinking about actually mindfully what you're doing. And if you're mindful and activate that mind-body connection, what happens is that all these other little chemicals start sparking off in your face, and all the energy starts going into that one muscle. Even though there's other muscles, all the energy goes into that one. And I know this because I've been doing it for so long now that I know how it works. So that's what I mean by activate the mind-body connection. The fourth one is repetitions. Now, when I first started doing face exercises, and if you have a look at my before pictures, before face exercises, you'll see that I was in desperate need of doing something about myself. I was on that very slippery slope downwards of aging. And what was happening to me was my skin was starting to sag very, very badly. Although I'd had very good skin structure, I had very good adipose fat underneath my skin. You know, you turn 50, your hormones start going crazy, especially the estrogen, it starts leaving your body, and that's when you actually look at yourself in the mirror one day and you go, oh my God, what's happened to me? It's just not me anymore. Once you start on facial exercises, that will change. And then when that changes and you start seeing changes on your face, everyone else sees it, and it's such a positive thing. So this is what was happening to me, and this is what happened to me. I saw myself in the mirror and I thought, God help me, I've got to do something. So that's why I went on my journey of face exercises. So what I found was that there was no repetitions happening, and I thought, you know, I was doing it for a little bit, and then, you know, it wasn't working for about 6 months, and I kept thinking, this is useless, you know, I can't even bear doing it anymore. But then one day I realized that, you know, like in the gym, because I used to go to the gym, so in the gym you have to do repetitions, you have to keep doing them to build the muscle. So I applied this principle, repetitions, to my facial muscles, and it started working, and it started working beautifully. So that's why you have to do the repetitions, and that's why you have to change the repetitions about. In, like, when I talk about the exercise along with me series, you need to start on 50, you go all at once up to 100, and then go all at once up to 150, and do 2 weeks at a go at those repetition levels. Now, when you do that, what happens is it gives your brain time to create those pathways of information to your muscles and tells them how to move the muscles. It's like our subconscious mind. It's like that activating the mind-body connection of number 3, the third principle. Our subconscious is in charge of our motor skills in our body. So we have to teach our mind how to move our muscles in a certain way, because we don't normally use our muscles in that way on our face. So that's why you have to do repetitions, because the repetitions teach you how to move your muscles within that particular exercise. That's why when I say go back to another routine and start on 50 again, because what it's doing is allowing your mind, your subconscious mind, to create those pathways to the muscles to teach them again how to do the exercises. So this is something that's been worked out quite specifically, and it has to be done quite specifically for you to have success. You don't just do one exercise, you do 5 in that routine, in that full face routine. You need to do a full face routine to have success. You cannot just do one exercise and hope that that's going to work, because it's not. So this is where repetitions came about within the 4th principle. Now the 5th principle is the energy lift. Now in the energy lift, there's a video here for you to watch how to do the energy lift. What you do is you hold and freeze for 20 seconds. You breathe in. As you're holding for that 20 seconds, you just breathe in for 20. You push your head up. You don't look up like this, because you're going to create more wrinkles here. If you're in that constant position of this, you're going to be creating more wrinkles. So you just move your head up instead of moving your eyes up. You hold and freeze, breathing in for 20 seconds, holding as hard as you can, and then breathing out and letting it all go. Now what that does is it brings all the energy into the muscles that you are working at that time. It brings all the energy, all the light energy, and you bring it up all from your body you push it all into that one muscle, and what it does is it plumps up your muscle with energy. It really works. Now, after a while, what happens is that your actual face starts to stay in that position of being lifted. The muscle is healthy, it's got all that beautiful energy in there, and that's why I say use the energy lift. Now, these are the 5 principles. You apply them to your face exercises. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in my exercises, because I do use my mind a lot when I'm doing the exercises, because you need to, because it's activating that mind-body connection as you're doing them, and you're creating so much more behind the actual exercise, rather than just doing one and holding or whatever and doing, you know, a few repetitions here or there. This creates so much more energy, it creates so much more chance for your muscles to lift and to build. Do have a look at my before pictures, before face exercises. It will give you an understanding of the changes that you are able to make, because if I can do it, I know that you can do it. Well, I hope that's helped. You have a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you next time. Bye.